I've been running in the woods for as long as I can remember, but this might make me change my mind. The story began around 6:30 p.m. I'd finished eating and decided to go for a run, as usual. I always use the same path, cross the street, run for about a kilometer, and pass the gate that goes into the woods. Something important to note is that the trail I use in the woods is separated about halfway through. One path is paved and the other isn't. I usually go into the unpaved path first, and then turn into the paved path after about 3 kilometers. Nothing ever really went wrong. I met some rare people walking their dogs, but other than that, I was pretty alone. At least I thought I was. I had been running for a while now, and then I heard a notification coming from my phone. An airdrop notification. Since I didn't want to make it look like I was worried, I kept running for a couple of minutes and then stopped to change my music. I opened the airdrop dreadfully. Who the hell was sending me this stuff? I was pretty sure I was alone. I clicked on the drop and my heart sunk. It was a Snapchat picture of me running with the caption, "You look good." I didn't turn around. Instead, I kept running like nothing had happened until I reached a certain point. You see, the forest is surrounded by a fence to stop children from coming in unsupervised, and I didn't like that rule when I was little, so my friend and I cut a hole in it. When I was aligned with that hole, I quickly turned and buried myself into the forest, aiming for my escape. I could hear ruffling behind me, but I still didn't turn back. When I finally reached the hole, I jumped through it and absolutely booked it to the fire station that was a couple of streets down. The last things I could hear when leaving the forest were an angry huff and metal meeting metal. I still don't know who it was or what they wanted from me, but I never ran in that forest again. I worked at a small town movie theater for a few years during community college. Creepy guys weren't common, but they definitely weren't rare. I had one in particular who clung on to me. It started when the first time he came into the movie theater. I took his ticket order, then his food order, and then gave him his total. The entire time he was just intensely glaring at me. When he handed me the money, he grabbed the back of my hand and said, "Oh, I like your skin." Confused and trying to avoid confrontation, I said, "Thanks, I got it for Christmas," hoping sarcasm would deflect him. It didn't work. For the next year, he came in about every 2 months, and regardless of how long my line was of customers, he would wait in my line every single time. He started to get more aggressive once he realized I was avoiding him. I was behind the counter one day stalking something. I wasn't alone, but to the customer's view, I was. My coworkers were in the storage room right behind me, door open so they could hear me as well. And this guy suddenly comes running down the hallway straight towards me. Thankfully, my 6-foot-tall coworker came out from the storage room and he instantly stopped. There were plenty of other things he did. Followed me to theaters, tried to follow me to the bathroom, and he even tried to follow me upstairs to the projection room once. But the creepiest thing he did was when he waited for me in his car. I don't know if you know, but when you decide to come into the 10:30 showing of whatever shit movie is on, theater employees have to stay till it's over. I got out of work around 1 a.m. and started to walk toward my car. I hear the engine of a car already running and notice the old stalker just sitting in his car, smiling at me. Then I heard the door open to his car and see him beeline for me. I ran the fastest I ever did in my life, ran to my car and locked the doors. Noticing he was beat, he walked back to his car, giving me the death stare the entire time. I was 16 at the time. I called an Uber to head to the beach club my parents and I were a part of. So the Uber driver picked me up and would not stop talking to me about how he moved from India. I didn't exactly mind, and I talked with him during the ride to be polite. He kept going down weird roads. Looking back, I think it was to talk to me for longer. But at the time, he blamed it on his GPS, and I was too afraid to call him out on it. When he finally got me to my destination, I said goodbye and left the car. Little did I know he would park the car at the place I asked him to drop me off at, and followed me down to the beach. People at the beach club saw him following me and said nothing. Looking back, it makes me scared to think of how easily he got away with it, even though it must have looked weird to everyone around us. He found me on the beach and started talking to me, and he would not stop. He told me how pretty I was and how he was looking for a wife. I was way too young and scared to tell him how I felt. I also didn't want to yell and tell him to go away. So I just stood there, hoping someone would notice how weird this looked and notice how scared I was. Then, all of a sudden, he left and drove away. Later that night, I got notifications that he found me on Facebook and Instagram and tried to add me as a friend. I deleted the app and blocked him. Since then, I only use Lyft.